Welcome, sisters. Hello, welcome. It's Sunday morning, the end of September 2020. Wow, we've been doing this for more than 6 months, I think, gathering since Return of the Priestess. So, welcome as you start to come onto the call. I'm grateful, as always, for your presence here and for this time that we have together where I invite Divine Mother to bring through to me whatever messages would serve the highest good for all those who listen either live or later on. So welcome. I see some of you coming on the line. Let me know if you're here. I don't know if, yep, great. Hi there, Petra. Good morning. Good afternoon for you. Okay, so it's interesting because I have a little bit of a heavy message today, and it comes from a dream I had, or I would say it was a prophetic kind of dream. It wasn't a typical dream at all. But then I pulled a card today, Lalita, to be playful as well. So the red goddess, playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me to the light. So let's see how I can combine those in balance today, because like I said, I feel like the message I have to share feels a bit heavy. So let's get us started in a minute. Hey, Rosemary, welcome. Evelina, hello. Good to have you here. Okay, so again, it is the end of September 2020, Sunday morning. Glad to be here with all of you. It's been an interesting week. I've had some sleepless nights and some deep reflective time. And as I said earlier in the week, I think it was Monday, I had this, it was like a prophetic vision that I woke from. And I'll share more about that in a minute. So let's begin. It's 2 after the top of the hour. Let's start with a little grounding and centering just to get ourselves connected. And then I'll tell you a little more about what happened and the vision I saw and how that's unfolded into today's theme. So, hey Pat, welcome. Monica, hello, good morning. Okay, so let's drop in for a few breaths together. So if you can close your eyes, go ahead, close your eyes. And taking a deep breath, let that breath come down into the belly. So you breathe in and expand your belly, letting the light and the life force energy pool in the belly. And as you exhale, let that breath drop down and out the root chakra, releasing any of the distractions or responsibilities of the day for this now moment, for our time together. And again, breathing in, this time breathing into the heart, expanding, inhaling into the heart space, opening to receive in the heart space. And again, exhaling, dropping down, letting the breath go down through the lower chakras and out the root. Releasing anything you're ready to release. We're going to do one more like that. Now you're going to breathe in through the third eye, breathing in through the third eye, letting that expand into the head and shoulders, heart, and even into the belly. So you feel so full with light and life force energy. And with the breath, taking all distraction, distress, or anything at all you're ready to release down and releasing out the root. Good. Now we're going to connect and really ground. So now I want you to breathe into the root chakra and just feel the pulsing sensation of that red root energy that's in the location of the perineum, the base of the spine, and feeling that as you breathe in and out, activating that root, relaxing now deeper with the breath, having cleared away any distractions. Now you're going to open to receive from that root chakra. And so on the next breath, I want you to imagine your taproot going down from the root, extending all the way down. through all the layers of wherever you're sitting, whatever structure you're within. And then all the layers of the earth, breathing in and out, letting the breath be the vehicle that drives that root down through the layers of earth, down through the crystal caves and waterways of Mama Gaia, all the way down to her diamond heart core. And as you feel your root reaching that beautiful diamond core, let yourself gently connect with her. Your root to her heart. That's right. Good. And now taking a breath, begin to breathe and draw that nourishing energy from Mother Earth up through the root. Even as you inhale and exhale, bringing that energy up, up, up with each breath. All the way till you feel that power pulsing at the base of your spine, at the entry of your physical body, your root chakra. And now drawing in a deep breath. As you exhale, sending that energy up, up, up through the pranic tube, through all of the chakras, and out the crown of the head. Beautiful. And let that nourishing energy of Mother Earth expand throughout your body, supporting you in your physical body and your energetic body. Even as you breathe, feeling that connection, feeling that life force energy driving up, up, and through your being, saturating you in that supportive energy, and rising out the crown of the head. And now from this grounded and centered place, sisters, I invite you to call down the pillar of light from the divine. Imagine your heart opening to call down that divine golden love light, and see the pillar coming down through the crown and all around you, protecting you in that beautiful light of the divine, moving through you and around you, going down the taproot all the way to offer that light also to Mother Earth. And feel how you are a vessel of light, and you are an eternal divine being inhabiting a body, being supported always by the golden love light of the divine, and supported physically always as you walk this earth from the blessed nourishment of Mama Gaia herself. And taking another breath to allow these beautiful energies to meet in your heart, inhaling, letting your heart expand, and exhaling to send that beautiful love light out into the web of sisterhood that connects us through time and space and dimension. Beautiful. And again, breathing in to draw that powerful energy from the divine and from Mother Earth into the heart, expanding in the heart space. And exhaling into the web to offer to your sisters all across this earth this loving energy, knowing that you too are receiving this energy simultaneously. And again, breathing in and exhaling to send and receive the love of your sisters. We are reweaving the web of sisterhood and support as we stand as vessels of love light on this earth. Thank you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Blessings and welcome again, sisters, to today's Sunday little visit, ceremony, priestess gathering. So I titled today's talk, How to Protect the Sovereignty of Your Mind. How to Protect the Sovereignty of Your Mind. And this title is motivated by a visionary dream or a download or some kind of message that I received right before waking. I think it was either Monday morning or Tuesday morning. I can't remember now, but it was so profound and so clear that it was not a dream, that this was a message. My guides were right next to me and they were showing me a picture to bring me a message. And of course, you know, when I get these messages, I right away am thinking, how do I share this with others, especially things like this that feel very important. So as I said, for those at the beginning, I got the card Lalita, the red goddess of playfulness, to begin, which is interesting because I feel like this message is very heavy. So I'm calling upon the goddess to help me serve in bringing forth this message with balance, which is the other card I got, Moon in Libra. Because this message it's a bit heavy. So I'll tell you the vision first. And as I said, this really felt like my guides. I don't know who it was, but there was a divine being energy next to me that was showing this to me. So the first thing that I became aware of was just white. And it was like I was seeing something and I kept being pulled back farther and farther away to get more perspective on what I was seeing. So the first thing was just white. And then as I moved farther away, I could see it was like, you know, when you take like a wide brush paintbrush and you paint, and if there's not a lot of paint on the paintbrush, it's going to be thicker in the middle and just like kind of, you know, crinkly, not smooth lines on the edges. That's what it was. And so I could see there was some kind of big words painted, but I couldn't see what they were. And again, I was being pulled further and further back, or the image was being pulled further and further away from me. And as it moved far enough away, I could see what the words said. And it said, be afraid. Be afraid. In white, rough paint from a wide paintbrush. Be afraid. And then the image, we kept separating. I kept getting more and more distance and perspective. And I felt my guides with me, like they were pointing and they were showing me this. And then as I moved farther away, those words began to fade into a background. They began to blend with another image that was more of a realistic image. And further away until I saw a picket fence, a wooden picket fence, not white, but brown, like wood, you know, natural wood, and a house behind it and like a happy scene. And what I was being shown was that subliminally, we are being bombarded with messages of fear, hate, and separation. The very energies that we as light workers, priestesses, starseeds are wanting to evolve beyond. So I woke and then I received like a packet of information, like the context, the information. And so here, this is me putting words to it, okay, because it was a packet of information. So I'll do my best to translate it into words. Basically, it went like this. When you watch TV, you are being bombarded with imagery that you cannot see with the naked eye. You are being subliminally programmed to be afraid and to accept violence, separation, and abuse, to be terrorized, to be mistrusting, and to believe whatever those who are controlling the media want you to believe. And then I got MK Ultra. Now, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, you could look it up. It's mind control. It's mind control through repetition and trauma. Traumatizing someone in order to split their personality and then create sub-personalities and mind control those personalities to behave in whatever ways they want to control. This is a secret military program. It's been going on a long time. There have been a lot of whistleblowers on it. Like I said, this is a heavy message today, and I'm sorry, sisters, but I feel like this message is so important. I've carried it with me all week to share with you today. Watching the TV, is a very risky proposition in these times, and maybe always, maybe always. I have not had a TV for, I was thinking about it. I was like, when did I finally get rid of my TV? I think it's been 20 years. Now, of course, like when I visit my family or stuff, there's been occasional exposure. I'm not saying I've never seen TV in 20 years. But overall, I don't watch TV. I don't watch commercials. I don't have it in my house. And I feel that at this time, when we look at what's going on in the world, look at what's going on. People are going batshit crazy. Excuse my French. They are, the anger, the rage, the hate, the divisiveness, the attack against, whatever it is, the hijacking of well-intentioned desires for justice, becoming violent, becoming attacking. There's a lot of stuff going on that we, the light workers, came to transmute. And in order to do that, we have to have sovereignty of our minds. We cannot be subliminally seduced into these polarizing beliefs. And I see it a lot. I see it among very intelligent, well-meaning people who are getting polarized into this kind of energy. This kind of energy is not the energy of peace. It is not the energy of the fifth dimension. It is not. We do not need to do battle to create justice, compassion, forgiveness. These are inside jobs. And this is not any different than the message I've been delivering all along. I'm just very concerned as I see more and more people get polarized. And again, you could say for my sisters here who are in other countries, you could say, well, Dawn, you're sounding very American. And yeah, I'm in the thick of it right now. It's so interesting because I really wanted to be out of this country. I've known for years that this great change was going to come, literally for years. And I was doing my best to get out of the country by now, but here I am. So I know that I'm supposed to be here, that at a soul level, I'm supposed to be here. So please forgive me if you are not experiencing this in your own country. And yay, I hope you're not. But I know that all over the world, the amount of control, the unreasonable control, the fear and terror among people who believe that this, let's say the virus, that has a 99 point something percent recovery rate is some deadly thing that's going to kill us, or the other many ways that we are being divided. And I look at this and I think, why are perfectly sensible people not looking into this? Well, the news and the mainstream media and all the imagery you see is all supporting a certain belief system, right? But this dream of mine, this vision, this download, this insight I was offered by my guides showed me a more nefarious thing beneath that even, which is that there's subliminal messaging going on that we cannot see with our naked eye, but that the subconscious mind receives when we watch TV. And I would say probably particularly the news, but any entertainment. You can be watching the happy, funny, sweet, nice, happy picket fence, happy family, but who knows what kind of messaging is going on beneath that. And if I sound paranoid, I want to refer you to a movie called Killing Us Softly. It's a documentary. I just was looking on YouTube to try and find it for you all, and it doesn't seem to be there. It's an old movie from the early 80s, a documentary about the way that women are shown in media. But then there's another one called Subliminal Seduction. And again, you can Google search these or go to YouTube or something and see if you can find them, because we know that it's possible to put subliminal messaging in video. I don't know how it's done. It's a technology, but it's like it happens so fast that you can't see it with the naked eye. And I just got really concerned about this for all of my sisters and brothers and my family members who watch TV all the time, that there's an increasing aggressivity an increasing intolerance, an increasing willingness to attack and judge and polarize, an increasing unwillingness to have dialogue, to have compassion, to have listening to the other side. It's like it's very strong right now. And, you know, I've talked a lot about the energies. We know that we are moving through a part of the soul of the galaxy that is more light filled, and all of that light, we're being bombarded with waves of light. And so on an energetic level, we know that all that is not of that frequency is coming to be cleared. So just on that level alone, we could say, well, that's why we're seeing so much craziness on the planet. Yes, and there are those who have a vested interest in keeping us from our awakening, and they are going about, I'm not a gambling woman, but if I was, I'd put money on the fact that they're doing some kind of subliminal messaging to keep people in fear, separation, attack, belief, and divisiveness, and anything they can to stay in low frequency so that they aren't able to ascend into the fifth dimension. They aren't able to forgive. They aren't able to let go of fear. They aren't able to actually hold a higher vibration because they're locked in. They're mesmerized into that TV, and they're receiving both the conscious messages and the subliminal messages. So why am I sharing this with you today? Well, first of all, because if you're watching TV, I really invite you to reconsider that. Like, urgently, I invite you to reconsider that, because I feel like the vibration of it is akin to death. And I'm not the first one who said that. This is a message that comes directly from Jesus and Ananda, and from other channeled messengers as well. I'm also sharing it with you because I feel like being forewarned is being forearmed. I think that's how the message goes. Like, having awareness of what is going on for our sisters and brothers who are not aware, who are not on their spiritual path yet, helps us to have more understanding and compassion for them. People are locked into mainstream messaging, which is all about fear, 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 be afraid, attack others, be afraid. You know, when we are afraid for our lives, we are very selfish. We are very short-term thinking. We, all of humanity, this is how we're wired. We think we make short-term decisions that aren't in our long-term interest. We're more willing to attack. We're extremely selfish, and we're extremely unable to make holistic choices. So even if you're not watching TV, understand that those around you are being programmed at many levels. And we have to, as we hold the light, as we anchor the light, as we dedicate ourselves and lean in to our spiritual practice, we have to understand that the work we do is significant so much, and it's so important. So I want to ask you, please, when you feel the urge to go dive into the muckety-muck of mainstream amusements, understand that you're playing a risky game, and maybe choose instead to read a book, to earth yourself, to hug a tree, to ask your guides for a download, to choose meditation, to pull out your tarot cards or your oracle cards, to light a candle and stare at it. Look for some other resources rather than the boob tube, which is what we used to call it when I was young. So that's my message for today. I know it feels really heavy, and I hope I haven't offended anyone. I don't want to offend you. And I do feel like I have to bring in the strong messages when they come in so strongly like that. This is part of what we signed up for. We signed up to bring the light, and we can't do that if we're busy, dancing back and forth in that realm of very, very low vibration. It doesn't help us. Oh, so I hope that makes sense. I feel a little like trepidation that I've maybe, upset some people. But anyway, I want to take a few minutes here to see if anyone has any questions and say hello to those of you I hadn't said hello to yet. So, hey, Sharon, welcome. Wonderful to have you as always. Yukta, welcome. Thank you for being here all the way from India. So Petra says she's experiencing it in Germany as well. That whole the divisiveness, the fear, the attack, the slinging, the slinging of mud, all of that stuff. So I'm curious if any of you have anything you would wish to share. I'll stay on for another moment or two. So Petra says, after 9/11, stop watching TV. Thank you for your important message. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. So 9/11, so that was 19 years ago. You know what? I think that's when we decided to sell our TV. So yeah, so it hasn't been quite 20 years that I haven't had a TV, but it was right in that period of time. We had one of those big entertainment centers, and this was my ex-husband and I. We sold it and we bought a beautiful Persian rug. That's what we did with it. Peaceful warriors, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and of course Jesus. Yes. Yeah, and that's what we have to be as well, is the peaceful warriors. And we cannot be peaceful warriors when we're busy diving into a very war-oriented, a very attack-oriented consciousness, which is TV. And again, even after receiving that vision, if you will, I even wonder about like nature programming, because sometimes like if I'm at a hotel, not that I do that anymore these days, but watching like the Animal Planet and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I think this is where, as we do our inner work and we become more sensitive, more empathic, more psychic, I think we can actually tune in and know. So for example, if you say like, if you have a TV and you're like, okay, I'm not going to watch the news anymore, which please, just don't even go there. It's so low frequency. But if you say, all right, well, I want to watch this Animal Planet about koalas or something, they're so cute. Just notice, just like maybe even take a few moments to go within beforehand and get tuned in deeply into your own energetic. So you're really with your own energy. And then watch, and then just go back and notice. Check in with yourself, like, how am I feeling? Do I feel uplifted by this, or do I actually feel downgraded by this? I think that discernment is going to be very key right now in helping us to understand what's going on. Maybe it was just a dream. I'm not one who has prophetic dreams a lot, but this really felt like something important to notice. That there's stuff going on that we're not aware of that's beyond the mudslinging that goes on in news, let's say. There's something else. So do your inner work, and if you do want to watch TV, just notice, check in afterwards and see, how am I feeling? And if you're feeling downgraded, then there's other things you can do. You can watch YouTube videos. People make home videos of beautiful puppy and kitten things. Pup dogs with babies. I love those. They don't have the technology, I don't think, to put subliminal messaging in there. So that's my thought. So let's see what else we have here. Rosemary says, very important message. Thank you for encourage us to share. Yeah, please do share this message with anyone you feel would be open to it. Yukta says, your words always soothe my soul. There are many sisters who are still calling the rest of us conspiracy theorists. Hard to have these open talks. What you share is so helpful. Yes, I know. My prayer is that soon that their truths will be revealed. But for the meantime, you know what? We can still do our work silently behind the scenes, sisters. We absolutely can. And that means not getting polarized and not getting sucked into everybody's got to take a stand for justice. There's a lot of people being hijacked. They have their hearts in the right place, but they're devoting their time, energy, and money toward things that are not going where they believe they're going. So we don't need to do battle with them. We just need to keep doing our inner work and bringing the love. That is what matters right now. And then Yukta also says, it reaffirms the truth. Can you please share about how you knew and what did you know about the ascension we are going through 2020 and when will it be rebalanced? What is the prediction, premonition? Oh, sister, if I only knew. Okay, but I'm happy to talk on this. Let me get a little sip here of my decaf cocoa and raw cacao and organic coffee. Okay. How I knew. Okay. Oh, I'm getting tingles. So my guides are coming in. Okay, thank you for asking this question, Yukta. This brings up a very powerful message, and I'm thankful to be able to share this with you now. All my life, I have been felt that there is some purpose to my being here that is beyond what I saw. In my childhood, I felt I couldn't understand the level of unconsciousness of my family, and yet I couldn't articulate that. I longed to understand and learn the life of Jesus, and was highly disappointed when I went to catechism to discover that that wasn't what I was going to learn. I was going to learn dogma. Still, I went through my life always inquiring about spiritual things, and there was a point when Mother Spirit began. This was my first women's circle, where we became a coven of witches, a coven of priestesses, the lineage that I now bring forward for others. That I felt that there was some quickening that would happen at some point in my life. And then I began to read spiritual books. And in many spiritual books that I read, there were inklings and messages. And with my first husband, we built an off-grid house in preparation for these times. And then when September 11th happened, we knew that something was coming. But my life went through many, many things, of course, as our lives do. And over the course of those years, many changes and many adventures happened. But I always felt this sense of needing to prep, needing to save some food, save some water, get some first aid, have like practical things like a crowbar and duct tape and things like that. So it was always there, always there. And then as soon as this the virus started, I knew, yeah, this is not about a virus. This is not. And so I started researching, behind the scenes. Oh, the death rates aren't nearly what they're saying there are. Oh, look, now they put the people with COVID in the nursing homes, and all of a sudden all the old people are dying so I started doing my research. So that's kind of how I don't know how I knew. I just knew. And you know what? I think a lot of us did. Those of us who came for these times, we came to see and to midwife the transition. Now, since all of this has unfolded, I've done a lot of research, certainly not mainstream news, to uncover some very, very dark, nefarious, frightening evil. The evil is shocking to me, and it's taken me months of processing and gradually uncovering. So what do I feel is going to happen? I don't fully know. There are a lot of possibilities. What I do know is that in my lifetime, we are going to see, in our lifetimes, we are going to see the beginning of the new come. And there's going to be a lot of revelations of what's really been going on, the depth of the depravity, and depravity is a perfect word, the depth of the manipulation and control, and the way people have been fooled and played. That those who are now being demonized as evil may actually be those who are the only thing standing between us and a much worse fate. So I believe the light will prevail. And I don't know how long that's going to take. But it's inevitable, because we are inevitably moving inexorably into a higher frequency part of the universe in which those dark forces which have been controlling us cannot abide. And so right now they are basically doing whatever they can to prolong their control, to prevent or stave off the awakening as long as they can. But I don't think they have much longer. And how we're on the timeline of ascension. But that doesn't mean that our job is done. We have to continue to hold the light. We have to continue to diligently clarify our own minds and hearts of the obstructions to love's presence. We have to continue to be those high frequency forces to facilitate, to midwife, and to maintain this timeline for our earth. There's a kind of harvest coming, in which those who are ready to ascend to the fifth dimensional consciousness will be able to do that in this incarnation and others. And those who are not yet ready need to continue to live out third dimensional incarnations, either on another planet or a different Earth. I don't know how that goes. But there's going to be a sort of separation. Maybe not in this lifetime, but we sort of see it too, right? It's like some of us can live in these lives of peace and harmony, and we can look like right out our door and go, they're going crazy out there and they're miserable and suffering. What's happening? So our role is to stay and to do our work deeply so that we are ascending to the fifth dimension in this incarnation or the next, and pray for our sisters and brothers who are still spinning around in the muck of 3D, even those who feel like they are injustice warriors, but they're still holding the 3D consciousness of we got to fight against. So what else? What else is here? I feel like in the next 6 months to 2 years, we're going to be experiencing a different kind of world where there is more spaciousness, freedom, and love. And a lot of that depends on the forces, the good forces, being able to reveal what's been going on behind the scenes. Those who are controlling behind the scenes are controlling the mainstream media. If you are getting your information from the mainstream media, you can basically invert it. What they say is black is white. What they say is good is bad. What they say is up is down. What they say is yes is no. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So if you are busy hating on certain leaders because you think they are evil, and that's what the mainstream media is telling you, I strongly recommend that you do some homework and invest in a little bit of research, because when you do, you will find the opposite is true. So think about 1984, the book by George Orwell. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. There is no savior who's going to save us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And our love and our light and our work matters deeply, deeply in helping us more quickly get to a world where we might see things like free energy, maybe, where we might see different systems. And the other thing that I feel is going to happen is that we're going to stop having these top-heavy global control systems and go back to more simple ways of living, where smaller communities take care of their food, their clothing, their exchange, that we go back to a more simple communal living. And I don't mean caveman. That's not what I mean, because we're at a higher level of consciousness now. I mean a way of living on the earth that's in harmony with our communities, with the earth, with each other, with ourselves, with the divine. So growing some of your own food is a really good idea. Having some extra supplies for the next few months is a really good idea, because there's a tumult that we're going to have to go through first. And if you think about all of the truths, if they come out too much at once, which they probably won't, people will be shocked and traumatized. Those who are not doing their homework, who are believing the mainstream media, if they were to see what's the people that they've trusted and loved, whether they're government officials or media personalities or movie stars, sports stuff, they're not going to be able to cope. So it's going to come out slowly, but there's going to be a lot of strife in the meantime. And so taking care of your kin, yourself, have some extra food, have some extra first aid supplies, grow some food if you don't have a garden, start to do that. I'm not a gardener. We're starting to garden. My husband isn't either. We're learning, right? Even if it's just some hydroponic lettuce, so you have some live food. Connect with Mother Earth regularly, daily, and keep your prayers and spiritual practices. And that will help us navigate through these next few months. Hopefully it's just a few months into a more where we can maybe see what kind of future we can create that's more loving, more loving. That's what we're looking for. So I want to read now. We have some beautiful messages here. Let's see. Yukta asks, how do we help others to wake up? It's creating complete disharmony in families and communities. Okay, so Yukta, this is a really important question. She says, I'm unable to share with some people who are so-called intellect doctors and technical experts. Yes, okay. Short answer, we don't. We don't. What I have found is it's the liberal intellectuals who are, and I know because I was one of them, who are very, very educated, who absolutely cannot believe that they are being hoodwinked. They can't believe it. Don't try to change their minds. Do your inner work, hold the light, pray for them, but the divisiveness is not, the attempt to try and convince them brings us into the battlefield, brings us into the divide, brings heartbreak. It's not worth it. Stand your ground. If you don't want to get a vaccine, I will never get a vaccine. Stand your ground. Encourage maybe your family to maybe look at it, but if they're like, la, 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 I don't want to hear you, I trust the media, I trust the doctors. Pray for them, let it go, drop it. It's not going to facilitate any improvement, really, if they don't want to hear it. They will wake up when they are ready. People wake up when they're ready to get out of bed. So as painful as that might be, that's what's necessary. And I know there are families that are being broken apart, and they just, fortunately, you know, some are able to find peace. You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, let's not talk about it. That's what I do with some family members for me. Pat says Ubuntu. Yes, Ubuntu. Thank you for that word. So look up Michael Tellinger's work if you want to understand where this may be going. Ubuntu, small communities. Let's get beyond this you know, the fake money system and the fake control systems. Jennifer says, generally speaking, I try to focus on the positive, but I'm happy to hear the extent to you are awake. Many New Agers seem to be controlled by the media, so they are not truly awake since they don't delineate the light from the darkness. Thank you for bravely speaking out on these issues. I think full disclosure is around the corner, so it will be a rude wake-up call for those who are completely honest with themselves. Yes. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, full disclosure. Disclosure meaning not just about our extraterrestrial beings that are, you know, the good ones and the not so good ones, but disclosure of all that's going on. Yeah, it's going to shock and traumatize those. And part of the situation is that liberal intellectuals often believe they're too smart to be hoodwinked, and that's why they won't listen to anything else. It's heartbreaking, but it's also, we pray for them. We pray for them and we hold the light. That's our role right now. And then we do our research to understand what we need to understand. When we see the heavy darkness and it's like, oh, the heartbreak of it, take time off. Just integrate, process, transmute it so that it no longer triggers you, so that when it starts to come out to the public, you're not like, shocked by it. But you have to trust your own beingness on that. If you're not here, some of us are here as the star seeds to hold the high vibrational frequency, to begin to build the new earth. It is not your role to look at all that dark crap because it's so dark. And some of us are these indigo warriors, and we're like, we have it within us to be able to go there, look at it, be like, oh, and then process it, and come back to the light. So you have to go with your own knowing of what your role is in that way, if that's your role or not. If it's not, don't judge yourself. Don't go there. Hold that light. That's the important thing. When you fall down, you catch yourself in the battlefield with a family member who you love and you don't want to see them going down that, getting taken down the garden path, and you get all angry and upset. Forgive yourself. Come back to the light. Come back out of the storm, to the eye of the storm, right? Come back to center. Forgive yourself. You are love. You have been conditioned to be in fear and separation. You have been conditioned. Forgive yourself, come back, train yourself to come back to love, self-acceptance, forgiveness. Okay. Yukta says, healing systems and happy new earth, sustainable community, locally grown food, and in service to divine and nurture Mother Earth. That is a profound and succinct, beautiful vision. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Beth says, I feel like it's gotten to the point where the sleeping are going to have to wake themselves up. It does no good trying to tell them what's really happening because they are so indoctrinated. They have to be shown, as bad as it is. Spot on, sister. Spot on. And that's why we hold the love light for their awakening to be more as gentle as possible, because it's, yeah. That's exactly why we're here doing what we're doing. Yukta says, blessings to you, wise Mother Crone. Thank you, sisters, for being here. Thank you for listening. Share this message as it feels appropriate to do so. Knowing that we cannot try and wake up those who are not ready to wake up. It's just not, it's not worth it. Remember that we do have, many of you have already, maybe all of you here have shared your vision for a new earth with me, and that is on my list of things to get started. So I have that all organized. My assistant put it all together in a file for me, so with your name and all of that. So that's, I'm going to be beginning that creative project soon, and that will be, you will all be credited, and you will all be given that to share around, because that's what we need right now, is a vision for a new earth to come, so that we hold that for our sisters and brothers, for ourselves, for our children, for the generations to come. So remember that the TV is not your friend. The TV is not your friend, but love is. And be kind and loving to yourself, and even to those who might judge and attack you for being a conspiracy theorist. It's okay. We hold them in the light of love, for we recognize that we are all one in this, and there are many who are still asleep, and to some degree maybe we're all still a little bit asleep, but many of us are opening our eyes now. Let us do it with love. And thank you, Pat. Yes, these gatherings are a blessing for me as well. And so I thank you, sisters, for your presence here on earth, for your presence with me, for being willing to hold this space with me, and for your work in the world, your love light work in the world, because it is so important. And so have a blessed week. We will share on the group, in the group throughout the week, you know, keep sharing, keep showing up. I'll share as things come through, and I'm sending you each so much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. And I will see you again soon.